Thank you very much. We got another wonderful special guest here for you tonight.
Welland native Daniel Romano became the first musical act to perform at the Robertson Theatre at the First Ontario Performing Arts Centre in St. Catharines. The singer-songwriter was honored to play in front of a Niagara area crowd after months on the road.
It's always nice to play close to home, and I've always been the people that run that have always been very kind to me. I haven't really given it much thought, but I'm excited to see the room. I've heard wonderful things about all the rooms they have in there.
You've been busy touring across the country right now. What's the success of the new album like?
Coastally, very good. The Bible Belt is always a tricky spot for, I think, any kind of music or any kind of live performance. But overall, very, very, very well received. It's just a show of songs, and that's my interest, and my interest is to deliver them in a non-conventional and non-sterile way.
Everyone's talking about your new friend.
After years playing in local rock band Attack in Black, Daniel's solo work leans heavily on his love for traditional country music.
I suppose that's sort of a formula that I've always been fond of. The trouble with that, I think, is there's a lot of sort of revivalist type things going on, and that whole world seems to close itself off in a very particular way, which I feel can sort of stump momentum or whatever it is. I've never been in a search for any particular thing, finding a box to be put in type show or career, for that matter. My focus always basically ends at the song and the performance of the song, and I don't really think about genre, and I know it's a very important thing these days because of the just the amount of material being put into the world and the devaluing of music in general.
Baby, I've got a melody.
As far as country and western music, it's definitely an element as far as songwriting and structure and formula goes that has always spoken to me, both the sort of more poetic end of the spectrum and the very straightforward, heart songs and all the old-time type stuff like that.
Yes, I'll get by.
Romano was always writing songs, whether he's on the road or at his home in the Welland area.
There was a record scheduled to be released almost simultaneously with the one that recently came out, because that material is actually quite old to me, and they're basically trying to play catch up with me. And at this point, I cut a record with Kenny Meehan, who's our sound guy and my engineer. We did that before, I guess, a year and a half ago at this point. And so that material has been submitted, but since then we tracked a whole other record in Berlin, just the two of us, and there's a lot of material being sat on. And so at this point, I'm going to spend this week, or I guess the next couple of days, working out a sequence to sort of make a best of what's happened, because there's about 4 recorded albums of material, and they're the label is willing to put out something in the spring, which is very nice of them and very close between the last release. So I'm basically just trying to make a sequence that works and that I'm happy with.
After a short break, Romano will be back on the road in January and February with the Trilliums. Visit DanielRomanoMusic.com for more information. Reporting for The Source, I'm Mike Balsam.